Hi guys, it's Mike here from KS Bushcraft Down Under. Today I thought I'd run you through adding scissors to an 84mm Victorinox Alox. Now, from eons, it was always a popular mod to modify the 93mm Swiss Army knives, adding scissors. Now, it wasn't as simple as a lot of people thought. First you need a donor, at least two donor knives. You want to set the scissors out of a climber or similar in the 91mm range. But to get a nice back on it, you needed a back spring from a 93mm Alox solo knife. Otherwise, it is possible to modify it with using a back spring from a climber that has a baggage hook, but it's a really unattractive finish, it really is. So since the Pioneer X came out, I think that mod's done and dusted. Okay, so this is a 84mm micro farmer, knocked up originally by Swiss Bianco. Now this has had a nice set of scissors added, and fortunately with the 84mm, all their pin sizes and alignments are the same as the celluloid models, so you can swap out parts from them quite easily. Just as an overshoot, all the 84mm pin sizes are all 2.2mm. So unlike the earlier conversions where you had to drill out the scissors to 3mm for the Alox, there's none of that, because you really need a tungsten carbide drill to do that. So 91mm can be a source of the pins if you don't want to buy them off eBay, or you've got a few scrappers around. So the two center pins, now one of them has a collar, one of them doesn't, are 2.2mm. So there's an option there if you've got a few junkers rather than buying the rods, but the rods are cheap. Okay, so this is basically a Cadet Plus, meaning that it has a pin blade instead of the nail file. But virtually it's a Cadet with a now with a wood saw and scissors, and it's a great knife, and it's actually slightly slimmer with 4 layers than my Pioneer X, so it's a great EDC knife. Okay, now I suggest if you're going to have practice at drilling out rivets and stuff, you practice on one of the early Aloxes first, because they are much thicker and there's a lot more room for error. There's not much error on these thinner side plates. So the other side. So, tricky part now. I've been lucky of late. A guy at our swap meet is buying the pocket knives that have been seized by the TSA, and there's been a good supply of Victorinox golfers, and I've noticed on eBay they're in high demand. Now I've gutted one here, and I have 3 rods, so side plates, spring plate and springs, and this is the Victorinox Bantam again by Swiss Bianco, and it's a great knife. It's nice and slim, so this is my next one to do. So this is the spring plate from the golfer, and as you see the holes line up nicely with the Alox frame, so it'll be a straightforward conversion. I'll have to drill these rivets out, add some 2.2mm pins, and it'll be a nice slim knife. So the trick is this: if you want to do this conversion, find yourself some golfers, and that means you can add scissors really nicely to Bantams, Cadets. Yeah. Basically you're remaking what Victorinox used to call a Voyager. Now with these pins, it's going to be a bit of a practice move for you. You need to cut them off, and the knife's reassembled with barely a millimetre on each side. Any more than that, by the time you pound them flush, it'll be too tight because you'll expand the brass pins. Now the factory finish on them is pretty hard to replicate, so that's a different material than brass, and there's the brass ones pinned down with a ball peen hammer. But it'll work well. It really will. And if you're looking for a compact sort of EDC knife with scissors, and you like the Alox like I do, I reckon it's a worthwhile project. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.